In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. How are you doing this fine Sunday evening? My name is Jake Johnson. I'm your host for the evening, and this is Untethered Live. Bible study on a Sunday night. We are in the great book of Leviticus still. Chapter 23, verse 18 is where we left off. That's where we're going to pick up tonight. So I'm going to shoot the breeze a little and wait for people to show up. We get enough people in here, we'll have a powwow going on or some such. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope everything went your way and that you had fun and you didn't get too hammered on Friday night and didn't suffer for it on Saturday morning. And, I hope you had a good time. Hey there, Kev. What's happening, my brother? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Glad you could drop by. It's going to be an exciting one. We're on the edge. A little bit earlier, thought I was having a heart attack. I don't know if I had angina or something. So we're on the edge tonight. I may kill over dead during the middle of this. You never know. If that happens, call the ambulance. Do something. If you see me fall over and it don't look like I planned it, do that. But I think I'll be all right. I think it passed. I think I might have pulled a muscle or something. Felt like a heart attack, though. It was right up in here and down my arm. It's kind of scary. But that's welcome to getting old, folks. That's what happens. Your body does lots of things you don't expect it to do. And then you spend the rest of the day going, well, what caused that? What can I do to never let that happen again? Never know. Just one of those things. If the smoking don't kill me, the heart attack will. I think that's how that song goes. Hey, Fab Daddy, what's happening, brother? No vaccine here, buddy. Sorry. That's not it. No, I'd say probably 40 years of smoking is probably closer to it. That's just how it goes. I think it was just an angina or something, just a little pressure. A little scary. Then it went away after about 10 minutes. So I think we're okay. But for all you older people out there that are, finding yourself on this side of 30, going up fast, let this be a lesson to you. Things are going to start happening now. When your hair starts turning white, you're going to feel things that you didn't know hurt or that you didn't even know you had start hurting. You're going to notice that you start to make this ungodly noise when you bend over to pick something up off the ground. Where did that come from? Well, that's just what happens to old people. They start making noises. Pretty soon you'll make that same noise when you get up out of a chair that you make when you had an orgasm back when you were 20. Same noise. Different result, but same noise. Your hair will turn weird colors. You'll start growing hair in places that you didn't know hair was supposed to grow, like on the inside of your ear. That's a strange place. Or on the tip of your nose. Anybody got that? I have to shave my nose, folks, because hair grows there and it ain't supposed to, but my hair don't know that. I have a gaming friend that just had a heart attack on the 24th. Heart stopped for 5 minutes. That's terrible. Is he okay? Did he survive? I hope so. That's bad news. Yeah, whatever this is, the thing you need to know about heart attacks is they usually don't give you very much warning from what I've read. Obviously, I don't have any experience in the matter, but from what I've read, if you know you're having a heart attack, you're probably going to survive it because most of the time, the bad ones, they don't give much warning and you're gone. So it's like being shot. If you're aware that you've been shot, it's probably not fatal. He survived. Excellent. And I asked what was death like. Well, he don't know. He survived. Death and hand grenades are a lot alike. Close don't count. It only counts if it blows up in your lap or if you die. But I can tell you what it's like. It's actually quite peaceful. It's like, no, if you're asleep when you die, maybe. But if you're awake, it's like, from the different things that I've heard people discuss that have had near-death experiences, it's like floating. All of a sudden, you're aware of everything that you weren't aware of before. I mean, your body, you're aware of everything. Your toes, your fingers, your knees, but you're not there. You're above yourself. It's not painful. It's not scary. Most people think it's terrifying, but it's not. Anybody that's ever experienced that I'm aware of, the last thing they would say was scared, More intriguing than anything else. Obviously, I have no experience in this situation, but I'm just talking about things I've read, and it seems to be apropos. He had a defibrillator surgery on Tuesday. Is that where they put the little pacemaker in, where it shocks you every time your heart skips a beat or something? Or is that something else? Either way, what happens when you physically lose your life? I don't know. Neither does anybody else. All these near-death experiences, I can't really say that that's death. Might be very close to death, but your soul hasn't left your body yet, or the tether to it. You may be wandering around a little, but you're still tethered to that body, or you couldn't come back to it, because when the clay pot breaks, according to the Bible, that's it. It's over. The silver cord parts, you're gone. Your soul goes back to the Father who gave it. So I don't really think near-death experiences are near-death experiences. I think they're near-death experiences. Like you might be close to dead, but you ain't dead yet. Hence, them coming back to life. Same thing with people that get frozen, or people that are pronounced dead by a doctor and then 5 minutes later they're fine. Some of that's the doctor's fault. He shouldn't be pronouncing people dead when he don't know for certain they're dead. A lot of things mimic death that aren't death. And then a lot of times, like when my mother passed away, I was sitting by her side. I was holding her hand, and I could feel her die. Like I knew she was dead. But I didn't have a machine to tell me she was dead. She could have been brought back to life, I suppose. She didn't want that, but she probably could have been resuscitated at that moment. But I felt her spirit leave. I felt that thing that I was holding on to was her hand become a thing. It was no longer her hand, right? Like I could tell the difference physically. I don't know how to describe it, but there was a difference. And so I think when you pass over into the other realm, you are not here anymore. So there's a big difference between near death and death. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling. So take that for what you will. How about we gin up this episode with a little bit of a... Not that. Or that. That. Sports update with Kevin Cox. All the Florida NFL teams, Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made the playoffs. Go Jags, Fins, Bucks. Hey, that's a good sports update. Everybody in Florida made the playoffs. They got a pretty bitchin' government, too. For anybody interested, Florida is the place to be. If you like freedom, and if you like autonomy, and if you like the ability to blow somebody away that comes into your door unannounced, go to Florida. That's where it's at. I'm thinking about it myself. I have two things that tie me here, so I can't really leave at the moment. But those two things are almost 18, so at some point I may be journeying back to Florida. What say you? You gonna put me up there, Kev? What? What's happening? Sports update. That got me up from a nap. Good evening, all. Good evening, MVTV. I liked your videos this weekend. Good stuff, my man. I try to watch them all and give them a like. I don't always comment, but you can bet if you put one out, I'll try to watch it. MVTV likes them sports updates. His cat freaks out every time you do it. It's like Pavlov's dog. Got Kevin Cox's cat. Thanks. That sewing machine is incredible. 1902 and cleaning up well. It looks nice. You ought to be able to get a pretty penny out of that should you decide to sell those things. A lot of collectors would love that cabinet especially. I've got a couple of sewing machines here with not a cabinet, but a table with the foot pedal attached to the bottom and the big wheel. Very ornate cast iron sets. And they make great end tables when you take the sewing machine off of them because they're nice and big, but they're also lightweight. And they got that bottom part that's the foot pedal, but you can use it for a storage rack. It's pretty interesting. They don't make them like that anymore. That's a fact. Have you seen it, Fab Daddy? Have you seen his video? That's quite the nice sewing machine he's got there. Very well crafted, American made item. I presume it's American made. Yes. Very pretty, whatever it is. The fact that the filament is still on it is amazing to me. That silver leaf or gold leaf or whatever it is that they use to make the ornate decoration on it. That's actually kind of interesting that that's still there. These are the hard realities, guys. Life is not a fairy tale, although sometimes it feels like our world is full of fairies. Well, our world is full of fairies. Have you not been watching the news? Whew. Goodness. But good to see you, Rick Price. Although the anointed prince name has already been taken. But I admire your conviction there. I could raise hundreds tomorrow on just the things I could loot, but it's dishonorable. Hey, Kevin Cox, I hear you, buddy. Don't be dishonorable. But, you know, if you can get a leg up, do so. I delivered mandarins. Oranges? Or Chinese people? About 30 pounds worth today. Well, if it's Chinese people, they're really small. Tiny Chinese people. Gracias, says Rick Price. You're welcome, sir. Hey, there's another one. It's like they're multiplying. Kevin Cox. The South Dakota Jackrabbits became Division II national champions in football. Go Jackrabbits. Are you ready for some football? Is that a question or a comment there, Rick Fries? And thank you. Back to you, Jake. Yes, God did divide the waters from the waters, but not in the same place where he created the firmament, which is a different thing. Water and firmament are not the same thing. Firmament is air or anything that's above terra firma. Anything above dirt is firmament. That includes the air you breathe, the atmosphere in which encompasses the world, and the space above that, and whatever's above that. All firmament, but not water. Hey, Rick. Good to see you, buddy. The Spirit. Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about today, among other things. How's everybody doing? Are you guys ready for a good time? Where's my April at? Tell you what, that episode earlier took it out of me. I feel like I've been in a fight with Mike Tyson and I called him a sissy. Know what I mean? It's good stuff. Anyway, nothing can keep a good man down. Let's get some stuff done. I wish I had an April for myself. Well, you can get one. They sell them on the market. You just got to go to the right store. Know what I mean? They're out there. But the only chance you're going to get of getting one of those is to go south. You can't find them up north or out west. They don't exist. That's a southern thing. So you need to go to Georgia. That's where they learn how to smile. Or Florida, that's where they learn how to be perky. Or South Carolina, that's where they learn how to get married at a young age. But that's it. Alabama, maybe. Never been to Alabama, so I can't really say. I've been through it, but never stopped. Nope, too late. Would not inflict myself on any fine ladies by this point. Have too much respect for them. Well, if you know you're set in your ways, that's probably a smart move. Yes, the peaches, that's right. There are very beautiful women everywhere, that's true. He wasn't talking about beauty, though. He was talking about personality, I think. Or that's what I was responding to anyway. But yes, there are beautiful women everywhere, even in other countries, believe it or not. I actually believe at this point that if you want a good wife, going to another country to get one is probably a smart move. I think the Western way of thinking has ruined women for the most part. There are some that are still holding out. I have seen a few. There is some hope, but it ain't much. They're definitely losing the battle. Third wave feminism has just about destroyed the mentality of the women that follow it. And that's a lot of them. Because that's what they're taught in school these days. Taught to think that way. So if you want a good woman, you want to go to Russia or England. Not necessarily England, but like Scotland or Ireland or somewhere in that area. Somewhere out. The further east you go, the more subservient they seem to be. Not that that's necessarily what you want. I personally prefer a woman with a little backbone. If she can't challenge me, she ain't worth having. But that's just my opinion. I don't want a woman to submit wholeheartedly to me. I want her to be submissive, but of her own free will, you know. I like my women with thinking. That's right. Got to have a little bit of brain. I don't want a dumb woman. I want a woman that's strong, courageous, has a backbone. I want a woman that can stand up to me and listen to me. I want a woman that fears God first. If I could find that, I'd marry it today. No questions asked. My 3 lost romances have left me an empty husk. I feel you, brother. I had a dream about one last night from 28 years ago. Can't sustain another one of those. I hear you. My last one kind of did me in too. But I ain't dead. I'm just on break. I do plan to have another one before I die because somebody's got to take care of this old bastard when I lose the ability to do so for myself. My problem was all were tough, sharp, smart, beautiful nurses. Kevin says, I want a woman who knows how to be weird with a knife. Oh, knows how to wield a knife. You have one of those. You do have one of those. I know from experience. I'm one of the people she's pulled a knife on. We won't discuss what happened next, but she's definitely one that knows how to wield a knife. Final word on that. But they were so wonderful. I could die right now and have no grounds for complaints. The memories are gold. Well, if memories float your boat, buddy, I have nothing but respect for that way of thinking. It takes a strong man to admit that. I might as well have been from Missouri. I need you to show me. All I have left for that. I hear you. All right, you guys. Y'all want to get started? It is 8:22, so we might as well go down and get some book. Here we are. And it's already open, waiting on us. Look at that. Chapter 23, verse 18. That's where we left off last week on Monday. That's where we're going to pick up tonight. We were talking about sacrifices and the like. And it reads, "And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord." And these are the ones they want them cooked well, and God likes the smell of that meat, the fat. It's a good smelling meat. I've had it myself. I don't particularly care for it, but I can see why they like it, especially if you've never had beef. "Then you shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs for the first year, 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings." And these are for the other people to eat, by the way. The first ones we talked about, the high priests get to eat. They get the choice meats of those sacrifices. And then what's left over gets dispersed among the people, especially the smaller sacrifices, peace offerings and sin offerings and such. "And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord, with 2 lambs. They shall be holy to the Lord for the priests." This is what the priest gets to eat. He gets some meat and cornbread. Pretty tasty. "And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day, that it may be in holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein, and it shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations." This is the way I want it done. I want it done this way every single time, forever, for all your generations. Again, I want you to notice that God is planning for the future here. He's telling them how he wants it done from now on, even though it's not going to work out that way. This is definitely what he had in mind. Just didn't turn out. "And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy fields when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleanings of the harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God." Now, this is very important information right here. This is for the people that own fields, right? When you harvest your field, you leave the edges, the corners, and if you drop anything on the ground or anything falls out of the basket while you're harvesting, you don't bend over and pick it up. You leave it there. If you've ever been in the Midwest or in the South or anywhere where they have a lot of fields and you see the Mexicans out there picking over the field after it's been harvested, what they're doing is gathering food for their families. They may get a couple of bushels or a couple of buckets full of sweet potatoes or corn cobs or whatever it is. That's what God wants you to do. You can apply this to everything in your life, including money. That's what tithing is, by the way. It's offering a portion, the edge of what you make, for the poor or for someone who's in need or for someone, if you are a member of a church or some such. It's to help the church survive. That's what God intends you to do with your riches, with your wealth. He wants you to leave the edges and the gleaning or whatever's left on the ground for the poor or for the needy or for the stranger or whatever. This is a good practice. This doesn't make you selfish or greedy. This means that you not only get the harvest for yourself and you and your family can benefit from that and gain riches from it, but you're also taking care of the community by leaving a little bit for them to grasp onto so they don't starve to death. Because if you took it all, then you'd be a greedy bastard and everybody would be looking at you like, why do you have so much? Well, it's because you worked for it, obviously. It's still a good practice. And it's mentioned several times in the Bible for that reason. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, ye shall have a Sabbath. There's that word Shabbat, or rest. A memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation. A convocation is where everybody gets together. Ye shall do no service work therein, or servile means to serve. Don't do any work that serves anybody. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also, on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. That's where you pay for all the things you've done wrong. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. In other words, you should go through and make a mental note of all the bad things you've done, confess them, and move forward, and do a sacrifice to atone for it. And you shall do no work in the same day. That's the Sabbath day. You shouldn't work on the Sabbath anyway. For it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in the same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. Anybody trying to get out of it, they're going to get cut off. You can't get out of it. Make it a day of atonement. Take that time to reflect on what you've done wrong and fix it. Make an effort, is what God's saying. Don't be the guy that avoids it, because I'll cut you off, says God. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work on the same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. Don't work on the Sabbath. It's pretty important to God, especially if you're an Israelite. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. That's like saying a rest of rest, or a sanctuary of rest. Could be translated that way. And ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at evening. From evening until evening shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. That's 24 hours, evening to evening. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And on the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you. So that's the first day and the 8th day. And in 7 days you do a sacrifice every day. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. It's a sad occasion. It's not a party. This is where everybody gets together and mourns for the wrong that they've done as a community. It's a solemn assembly. And ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of the Lord. Now we're going to talk about the different feasts that are laid out by God. Keep in mind, all of these rules are for these particular people at this particular time in the world. It's not for everybody. It's for God's chosen people only, the Israelites. These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be in holy convocations. to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and a drink offerings, everything upon his day, beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. So all these things you do, but this is a different thing separate from all those other things. Also, in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the first fruits. Jesus, I can't read. Also, in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord for 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. That's Sunday to Sunday, in case anybody's counting. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God for 7 days. Jake, off topic, interruption, but keep forgetting. I made my own postcard and sent to you. Did it ever show? Or did UPS disregard the stamp? Well, I haven't gotten anything from UPS, but I'll go check my mail after the podcast. I haven't checked the mail this week, so I don't know if it's in there or not, but I'll check. Should have came to me. Hello, April. Good to see you, sweetie. And you shall keep it a feast unto the Lord for 7 days in the year. So 7 days a year, you should have a feast for 7 days to the Lord once every year. That's these guys. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths for 7 days, like a flea market or a farmer's market. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. And when they set up the tabernacle, that's kind of what they did around the edges of the tabernacle. They had little booths set up, tents inside each booth, and they would trade amongst each other and help feed each other and all that good stuff. So, USPS, the Postal Service, got it, not UPS. Just wondering, it was handmade. Well, I'll go check and make sure it's here. If it's here, I'll send you a letter or an email. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure olive oil, beaten for the light. That's like whipped oil. Kind of makes something similar to mayonnaise, minus the things you put in it to make it mayonnaise. If you take oil and beat it, you'll find out that it becomes thick. And it's actually good to spread on things. And apparently it's good to cause lamps to burn continually. Without the veil of the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the outside should always be a lamp burning. I sent you love early, Jake. Thank you, sweetheart. I could use it. I'm broke, so that's good. Good news. Appreciate it. My phone is off right now, so I probably didn't get a message telling me I got it, but I'll check it out. Aha. Yep, I got it. Thank you. Hey, American Justice. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. I've lost my place again. Hold on. Got it. without the veil of the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation shall Aaron order it from the evening until the morning before the Lord continually. It shall be a statute forever in all your generations. What this is saying is there should be a light on all the time in the tabernacle. There should never be a moment when it goes dark, so that it's always open. The doors are always unlocked, and you're always able to come in and pray, day or night. He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before the Lord continually. So not only is one light burning, but all 7 are burning. The pure candlestick is the menorah, in case you haven't remembered the last time we read through here. Thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2/10 deal shall be in 1 cake. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon the pure table before the Lord. That's the showbread table. So there's always something to eat, and there's always a place to come, saith the Lord, day and night. It ain't much, but it's something. That's all you need, something. And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall set in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. That's a promise between you and God. I love you too, April. Thank you. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons, and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him, to the offerings of the Lord made by fire by a perpetual statute. And the sons of an Israelitish woman, the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian. That means that she was taken against her will in Egypt. They had a child. Went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. They got into a fight. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses. And his mother's name was Shelemith, the daughter of Debri. Debri. Of the tribe of Dan. They put him inward, that the mind of the Lord might be showed him. Now, what does that mean? They kind of locked him up. They took him into the tabernacle and put him in a room by himself, closed the door. That's in ward. Same thing as in lockup. For blaspheming the name of the Lord, cursing this man that he was in a fight with. And the Lord spake unto Moses, bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his God shall bear his sin. That's not good. I guess if you're in the tabernacle or in the camp of the tabernacle, that's not the place to blaspheme the name of God. And this guy found out by being stoned to death. And he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death, and all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well as the stranger. And he that is born in the land, when he blasphemeth the name of the Lord, shall be put to death. This is a no-tolerance policy, that's right. He that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. So in this sense, the sin of blasphemy, and this is very specific, this is cursing the name of God, is the same punishment as death. As murder. So if you kill a man, you get stoned to death. If you blaspheme, you get stoned to death. It's pretty simple. Don't do that. And he that killeth a beast shall make it good, beast for beast. This is referring to someone who owns a beast, like a beast of burden, like a cow, and you kill it. Well, you need to replace it because that's that man's livelihood. So you make it good. What's up, ATL? Good to see you. Come on in, take your shoes off, set a spell. And if a man cause a blemish in his neighbor, as he hath done, so shall it be done to him. Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he hath caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done unto him again. And he that killeth a beast shall restore it. And he that killeth a man, he shall be put to death. Ye shall have one manner of law, as well as for the stranger, as for one of your own country. For I am the Lord your God. This is pretty simple here. God is establishing the way law should be interpreted. There's one law for everybody. MVTV says, yet today drag shows the embrace of, I'm assuming that means abortion, and everything 100 times worse, and not only rampant, but embraced and celebrated. We're done. Well, let me put it to you this way. Everybody has to pay for their justice. Nobody gets away with anything. They might get away with it right now, but they're not going to get away with it forever. God said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. That means if you do wrong, God will eventually pay you for it. Now, some people get their rewards on this earth. Some people don't. Some people get their reward in heaven. That goes for punishments too. Some people get their punishments right here on earth. Some people don't get their punishments until they meet God. Maybe he's got something he needs to tell them before he punishes them. So he waits. Don't mistake that for them getting away with it. Yes, we live in a fallen society. Yes, there's all manner of evil going on around us at all times these days. Make no mistake about it, your Father has it under control. They will pay for it. Nobody's getting away with anything. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel that they should bring forth him that had cursed out of the camp and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. Yes, remember, all of this is God retraining the Israelites as to what their religion is. They've been in captivity for 450 years. They have all but forgotten all the rules. They know who God is, but that's about it. They don't remember any of the rules. So that 40 years in the desert is God re-educating them, which is why he's being so specific about every little detail, because they didn't know it all. They've forgotten it all. Well, God has needs. So he's going to make sure that people follow it. And he's leading them to Canaan, which is the land flowing with milk and honey, which he will eventually give to these people. And he's saying, when you get there, the first thing you do is establish the Sabbath, which is the Saturday of the week, and do it every week. It is incumbent upon the Israelites to keep the Sabbath, which means they've never lost it. They've known where it was from the beginning of time, right on through the flood, right on through all of this stuff, right up till modern day. Believe me, people know when the Sabbath is, and the calendar has changed 3 or 4 times in history, but they've always kept the 7-day week whole. They've never chopped it in half. They've never lost that 7-day cycle, which means they've never lost track of when the Sabbath is. So even now, we know when the Sabbath is. It's a Saturday. Always has been. 6 years shalt thou sow thy field, and 6 years shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land. Now this is talking about farming. A Sabbath for the Lord. Shalt thou neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. That's in the 7th year. And why is this? Because if you continually grow food on one plot of land and never allow it time to rest, it will become fallow and stop producing. It only produces if it has the minerals to reproduce. So you can use up a piece of property and then nothing will ever grow on it again. Or you can take a year off every so many years and let it regroup. And then you can grow on it the next year. And that's what he's talking about. This holds true to this day. You ask any farmer, they always let a plot of land rest after so many times of harvest. And they move over to another field and grow there. And they always have one plot of land that ain't growing nothing because it needs to rest. That which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. If something grows on that property without you planting it or without you coaxing it, if it grows by itself, let it grow, but don't harvest it. Don't eat it. Let it grow and let it die and replenish the land. You can fertilize with potash, but you're overworking the land if you allow it to grow without stopping occasionally. 7 years is what the Bible recommends. And the Sabbath of the land shall be a meat for you, or a help for you. This word meat means helpfulness. For thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for the stranger that sojourneth with thee, and for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy land, shall all the increase thereof be helpful, or be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of the year shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee. This was a question asked of me last time I was online. What is a Jubilee? Well, we're about to tell you. That's the 50-year Jubilee. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of the atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty, or freedom, throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you. And ye shall return every man unto his possessions, and ye shall return every man unto his family. That means if you took something from somebody or bought something from somebody, you give it back to them every 50 years. If you took people as slaves, you give them back to their family every 50 years. Jubilee is a special time, and it's a good practice, and everybody should probably follow the rule, but everybody doesn't. They do, though. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vineyard undressed, meaning not taken care of. For it is the Jubilee. It shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this Jubilee shall ye return every man unto his possession. This is the second time it said it for emphasis. And if thou sell anything unto thy neighbor, or buyest anything of thy neighbor's hand, Ye shall not oppress one another. Give it back. That's what he's saying. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, thou shalt buy one of thy neighbors. According to the number of years of the fruits, he shall sell unto thee. According to the multitude of years, thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of the years, thou shalt diminish the price thereof. For according to the number of the years of the fruits doth he sell unto thee. This is very simple. If he's selling you newer stuff, then he can raise the price of it. If he's selling you older stuff, he has to lower the price of it. In the year of Jubilee, everything is supposed to be brought back to fair level. You understand? So if you have something of someone else's, you have to return it. If you have a slave, you have to give it back. If you are buying something, you have to pay a fair market price for it. If you're selling something, you have to charge a fair market price for it according to how old it is and according to what it is. It's pretty simple stuff. It's basically a year where everybody gets brought back to base level. Everybody's equal again. Nobody's above anybody else. Everything starts over. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord your God. This word fear means reverence, not terror. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety. That's a pretty bold statement right there. Ever noticed how much crime is going on in the world and how much bad is happening everywhere you turn? It's because they don't follow the rules. If you follow God's judgments and his statutes and do them, meaning you put your life in array with the rules that he set forward, you will live in relative safety. There will be no murderers and rapists and thieves among you. There will be no border jumpers. There'll be no criminals around you because they will fear the Lord just like you do because you follow the rules. And if you go to a place where they do follow the rules, you will first notice how safe you feel there because the things that are occurring in the rest of the world aren't happening there. And the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety, says God. And if ye shall say, what shall we eat in the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. That's a pretty sweet deal. If you do what God says, he will bless you so that you can get through it. That probably happens to this day. It happens to me. If I need something, something shows up. It ain't much, but it's enough to get me through. You should consider that when it happens to you. And then respond in kind by following God's rules. And ye shall sow in the 8th year, and eat yet of old fruit until the 9th year. Until her fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store. But you'll have it prepared. You'll have it backed up. And the land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. He's saying, I'm letting you live here, but I'm the owner of this property. Make no mistake about it. You are the stranger. You came from Egypt. I brought you here. And in all the land of your possession, ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possessions, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother sold. That means if you've got the money, you buy back what his brother sold and give it back to him. Take care of your brother. That's what this is saying. Hey, Diego, good to see you. Been a while. Glad you dropped by. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus or the surplus or the interest unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. In other words, provide a path for him to get his stuff back. Don't just hoard it away and keep it from him. Allow him a way to pay off that interest so that he can get his stuff back. But if he be not able to restore it to him, if he can't afford it, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until a year of Jubilee, and in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession. You keep it for 50 years. And when Jubilee hits, you give it back to him. If he can't afford to buy it back from you, you give it back to him in 50 years. So you get to have possession of it for 50 years, but then it's time to return it to who owned it. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, that he may redeem it with a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year may he redeem it. So even if you bought a house from a guy, he's got a whole year to reclaim it, give you your money back, and take his house back. After that year's up, it's your property. Then he can't do that. And if he be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It shall not go out in the Jubilee. So you've already given the man a year to reclaim his property. So you don't have to return that in the year of Jubilee because you bought it fair and square, and he had a year to reclaim it and didn't do so. So therefore, it's yours. But the houses of the villages, which have no wall around about them, shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed. They shall go out in the Jubilee. Why? Because it's not a valuable piece of property. It's a dwelling. It's like a duplex. So you have to give those back. You can't claim those and keep them forever. This is not an estate. This is a little house. This is a trailer park, basically. Notwithstanding the cities of the Levites and the houses of the cities of their possessions, may the Levites redeem at any time. Why? Because they're special. They're Levites. They are the high priests. They work for God directly. You have to give them out anytime because they're men of the cloth. And that's a perk. It's one of the perks of the job. And if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold and the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee, for the houses of the city of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. See, the Levites didn't get a full inheritance like everybody else did. Everybody else got land and money and food and blessings and so forth. The Levites just got to work for God. They didn't get any of the other stuff because they're humble men. They're to stay humble. So that's why they get the perks. That's why if this is a Levite house, that's part of what they got for an inheritance, is a place to live. So you can't buy their houses out from under them. You can't kick them out of their houses. You have to give it back to them because that's the only inheritance they got. They didn't get land. They just got a place to stay, you know. But the fields of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. You can't sell the fields because that's where you grow your food. And if you sell those, then you can't grow food anymore. Pretty common sense there. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, meaning you don't get along with him anymore, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. You don't have to like him. You just have to put him up for a little while till he can get back on his feet. Take thou no usury of him or increase. That means you can't charge him rent or interest. But fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. You take care of your family. You don't charge him rent. That's your brother, you know. You let him stay there till he can get back on his feet, till he can get his bearings. Be a blessing to your brother. You don't have to do that for everybody, but you have to do that for your kinsmen. Doesn't matter if you get along with them or not. Doesn't matter if you like them or not. Be a blessing to your family members. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. If you give your brother $20, you just give him $20. You don't ask him for 25 back. You don't expect it back. You gave it to him. That's what it's for him. If you didn't want him to have it, don't give it to him. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and be your God. Lo-ami, Miami. You will be my people and I will be your God. That's what he wants. That's the reason we're doing this. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as an hired servant, and as a sojourner he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. If you happen to purchase your brother as a slave, you can't treat him like a slave. He's your brother. He still has to work for you, but he's with you. He's part of your family. And in the year of Jubilee, you set him free. That's how it works. Then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. This is a pretty good system they had set up. Your fathers would work and accrue things and then leave it to the children, and the children would work and accrue things and leave all of it to their children, and they just kept getting richer over time. Doesn't work that way in most places nowadays, but it used to, and if you followed these rules, your families would be well off in a few generations. One thing they don't make any more of is land, so if you can get some, get it while you can. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondsmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy God. So God did not intend any of his people, any of the Israelites, to ever be slaves. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids, not of your own people. You can buy from the heathens, but you can't buy Israelites. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land. They shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. Yep, Israel goes from the Mediterranean to the Indus River. That's correct. I feel like you've said that before. And if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is near of kin unto him of his family may redeem him. Or if he be able, he may redeem himself. That means buy himself out of slavery. God really does not want the Israelites to be slaves. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him unto the year of Jubilee. So you have to be there until the year of Jubilee, but then you're free to go. And the price of his sale shall be according unto the number of years, and according to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. So every year he serves, his price goes down. If there be yet many years behind, according unto them, he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. Every year, the price goes down because that's a year he served. And he's making money, too, while he's doing that. See, this is what's different between the slavery of the Bible and the slavery that we experienced in this country. I don't know if you're aware of this, but slavery is still going on right now. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube and look up Libya slave market, and you can watch the slave market on YouTube today happening. But this kind of slavery is different. This is indentured servitude. This is not the same thing. These people were making money for their hire, and when they were freed, they were often conscripted into the family and became part of the family. And if they didn't, they were allotted enough money that they could go buy land for themselves or some such. Once they paid off their debt, a lot of times this was voluntary. They would offer themselves for a certain number of years as an indentured servant to pay off a debt or to buy a property or something like that to take care of their family. The simple truth is, if there was no such thing as slaves, there would be no such thing as civilization. That's the truth. That's the way it really is. And most people can't handle that, but it's true. Africa is very active in Africa and in the Middle East. Yep. Slaves were different back then. And if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according to his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. If you're close to the year of Jubilee, you can lower the price a little bit so that he can redeem himself. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with vigor over him in thy sight. Because he's a hired servant. It means he's free otherwise, but he has to work for you, but he gets paid. Yeah, sometimes a man would offer himself to get his daughter. Yep. Or to get the person he's offering himself to's daughter. That's what Jacob did. And if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him, because that's when he's free. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. That means to God. They are my servants, whom I bought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. And that's where we're going to stop for today. We'll pick up tomorrow night on 26. All right, 26:1. That's where we're going to go tomorrow. Man, that was interesting. Always learn something new from the Word of God. Won't you do me a favor? Hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online and when my new videos drop. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Smash that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you. It takes no effort at all, and it really does help the channel with the algorithms, and it helps us get recommended to other people. So won't you do that? Leave comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value in what I'm trying to build here and you'd like to help out, and you'd like to support my work, you can do that by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a CashApp user, you can go to $jakejohnsonband. If you feel led to send tithes, offerings, or love offerings, you can do it there. Or if you'd just like to pat me on the back and say, hey, nice job, Jake. Either way, it works for me. And I am grateful for your support, and I will do everything in my power to be worthy of it. And I appreciate you. Now, I will round out this video by taking all your questions and comments. Hello, everybody. How was that? Did you learn anything? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel like you could handle some slaves yourself? No, don't do that. Margie, good to see you. Welcome to the show. Sure enjoyed you sharing the word, Jake. Thank you, dear. I enjoyed delivering it. I recorded the Mississippi Squirrel Revival. Did you now? I'll have to check that out. Hey, Caucasian, good to see you, buddy. 50-year Jubilee is when? 50 years. I don't know. I imagine you'd have to be Israelitish or be part of that system to know when it is. I could probably find out. It's every 50 years, starting from then, so you'd have to do the math. Somebody knows, I'm sure. Anybody know when the 50-year Jubilee starts? I think, seems like at one point I remember them doing a celebration in England about the Jubilee. I think that was the Queen's Jubilee, the little take on what the Israelites did. I don't think it's the exact same thing, but I remember hearing about it in my life. And since I'm not yet 100, I only heard about it once. That's how years work. But I do remember hearing something, but I couldn't tell you when it was. Much love back at you. And may God bless all. Thank you, April. My pleasure. Yeah, it's my pleasure too. I don't know. I don't know either. It said when the crops were plentiful. Well, that may be. Not sure what to do now. Whatever you want to do, Sasquatch. Mi casa es su casa. The Jubilee, according to Google, the most recent Shemitah? Is that what that word is? Shemitah? The recent year was 2122. Or Anno Mundi, 5782 in Hebrew calendar. The next Shemitah cycle will be in 2028, 2029, the year 5789 in the Hebrew calendar. But there you go. There's the answer. No clue of those weird words in there like Shemitah. I don't know what that means either. I'd have to look it up. I'm sure it has a meaning. I don't know what Anno Mundi is. I know what Anno Domini is. That must be a play on the year of our Lord. I don't know who Mundi is. Domini is the Father. The year of our Lord, Anno Domini, or after death. That's a colloquialism, though. Thanks for taking the time to get that. Much love to you and appreciate you so much, MVTV, says April. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the information as well. I learned something new today. I learned that I will not be alive when the next Jubilee occurs. Thanks, April. I was worried that I pushed the line of being insufferable. No, never. MBTV, you're as welcome here as I am. You got a wrench, don't you? You're part of the family. I don't just give those out. They only go to people I implicitly trust and desire some closer connection. I plan on still being here will only be a brain in a glass jar, but that's my plan. Well, if you can get your brain in a glass jar after you're dead, I'd like to see that. That's for sure. We love you, MVTV. How are you planning on getting the brain from the head into the jar is what I want to know. Do you have people conscripted for that service? Thanks, Jake. That was indeed a humbling honor that made me try to be less of a dick, voluntarily, of course. I never thought you were being a dick in the first place. I wouldn't have offered you the wrench, so. But nonetheless, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're part of the team, and that's a good thing. There will be others. They just have to be here a while. Oh, it will be removed, hooked up to a battery charger, along with a voice synthesizer and cameras. I wonder if that's ever worked before. Was that MVTV dancing air guitar with a stick? Yes. I feel part of a grander scheme now, thanks to you all. Well, trust me when I tell you that's a fact, Jack. We are all part of a grander scheme. The Lord does have a plan, and we are all not privy to it. But we do get clues, and it's in this book, and that's why we read it and try to figure it out. And hope we're on the right side of it when it comes down. And according to what I'm seeing in the world, I don't think that's going to be much longer. I would never presume to put a date on it because I'm not one of those psychos that can predict the end of the world. But I promise you, it won't be much longer. We are in the last throes right now. We are in the tribulation as we speak. Yep, scary, ain't I? Ichabod Crane's bastard child, but hey, I'm alive. You do kind of look like Ichabod Crane, come to think of it. Slender man. But I'm glad you're alive. You make my day. Fab Daddy said, I was like, dang, he's got some moves. He's got some moves, all right. He can play a mean air guitar, too. He plays better air guitar than I play actual guitar. That's saying something. Yeah, I know that this portion of the Bible is a hard read. Some people aren't interested in it at all. Some people are interested in the details, but they don't want to get through all the slog to get to the details. And some people are just weird like that and like to read stuff like this. But we'll get through it, and then it'll get exciting again. In the original, I was doing it for the cat that disgustedly wandered out of frame. Can't ever count on a cat. They do whatever they want to do. April says, I got to check it out. It's pretty funny. Gotta love a man that'll dance for his cat, though. I just yell at mine. They don't listen to me anyway, so half of them won't even come up to me. So Kevin says, what's up, Sasquatch? Yeah, what's up with you? He's probably recording Eric the Awful right now. He's on a Ray Stevens bend. April, it's buried at the end of an unrelated down the hatch, looking to the cabin sub-basement. Fab Daddy says, found different neighbors' cat on the lawn furniture this morning. And April says, I'm sure I dig it. April likes dancy stuff. So you got a different cat in your yard, huh, Fab Daddy? I got 12 of them that don't belong to anybody. They're just here. Fab Daddy, did that cat want to move in with you? Well, he was on his lawn furniture. That's saying something. My cats get in my hammock and hang out. You ever seen a cat in a hammock? It's hilarious. They like my place, says Fab Daddy. They like my place too, apparently. Probably has something to do with me continually feeding them. Well, tomorrow night, we're going to pick up 26:1 for those of you keeping a tab on what we're doing here. It's chapter 26, verse 1 of Leviticus. I feed the birds, says Fab Daddy. Well, you feed the birds and the birds feed the cat. That was weird finding the cat skull in the coal shed, but Jake, you tagged it. I wasn't sure. Yep, it's a cat skull, all right. That's what it looked like to me. Ah, understood. I've never de-skinned a cat to see what their skull looks like, but that's what it looked like to me. I just imagined it with skin. Kind of looked like a cat. Of course, it could have been a really big rat. Or a really weird-looking dog. Not too many things have sharp fangs like that, though. Cat's one of them. I'm losing it. It's a rabbit. Clearly, until realizing rabbits don't have fangs. That's right. It might be a vampire rabbit. That would have fangs. Boop, 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 boop. I want to suck your blood, but first. Actually, I found rodent skulls before, and all rodent skulls have continuous set of front teeth into their skull that wear down and is replaced constantly like spears. Gotta go get chicken, y'all. Chicken. Sounds good. That's a horror movie. Killer rabbits from Mars. Yeah, killer vampire rabbits from Mars. I'd watch that movie. Enjoy the chicken. Safe travel, says MVTV. Yeah, I want a leg. I'm going to eat some chicken-flavored noodles tonight. Maybe. Don't know if I'm going to eat tonight or not. I ate earlier, so I don't know if I'm going to eat again. I'm still here. Didn't think you just jumped right off and left. I mean, you got to take your phone with you. They have a movie night of the leper about killer rabbits. Interesting. Check out the trailer. So funny. They try to be completely serious. I seen something not too long ago. I'm worried about your heart, Jake. Me too. I think it'll be all right, though. It seems to have passed. It was kind of scary when it happened, but I think it's okay now. I've had that feeling before. It just didn't last as long as it did this time. It was like a fleeting thing when I was loading equipment out from a show. I had a little pain right here. I thought it was a muscle. This time it came on and stayed for like 25 minutes, and I was really getting panicky, and then it just eased off. Don't know. But I appreciate the worry. Just say a prayer, and what'll be done will be done. If God wants me to continue working, he'll keep me here. What horror stalks the dark night? What terrors were unleashed? Hilarious. Unleashed, but supposedly they didn't have leases either. My voice is going. Just one of those things, Fab Daddy. Getting old sucks. It ain't for sissies. So, today would be Elvis's 88th birthday. So everyone wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Elvis. Uh-huh. I didn't realize he was born in January. Why do we celebrate people's birthday when they die? Why don't we celebrate their death day after they die? You ever wonder about that? Seems like the birthday's a little arbitrary at that point. Jake, we are taught to respond to any patient complaints. If you think you might be something, go to an ER and have a BP quick heart check. They will prioritize it and likely let you go without charge. Well, if it gets serious, I will. But I'm not the kind to go to hospitals, so more than likely I'll probably just kill over and die. But yes, I appreciate the concern, and don't worry so much. It was just an episode. I'm pretty sure it was just angina. Just one of those things that come on all of a sudden. Celebrating death as happy morbidity. Well, if you follow any of my teachings, then you know death isn't the end, and you know that they're going to a place grander than the one we're in. So you don't view death the same way other people do. You mourn for the loss of your loved one, but you rejoice that they're with the Father. So it's worth celebrating, in my opinion. Yes, he would be 88 today, R.I.P. He's partying in heaven, I'm sure. Oh, yes. I'm with you. I agree. Hospitals open many cans of worms. Just be aware, at least in my time, you can just walk in and no valid place will make you wait. Well, I appreciate that. And like I said, if it gets to a point where I think something's seriously wrong, I will go. I'm not that concerned about it because it passed. If it were a serious thing, I'd be having trouble right now, which other than having to pee, I'm pretty good. So it was just a momentary pain and it went away in 25 minutes. Could have been anything. Could have been acid reflux. Who knows? Just felt in that area, you know. Happy birthday, Kang. Speaking of kings, it is 9:30. We made it to the top of the middle of the hour. So, I'm going to bid you adieu because I got to get up and go to work in the morning after I go to town. So, take care of yourselves and each other. Don't go developing kidney stones. Don't worry, I won't. I have no cardiac symptoms, but I had the same pain. I got myself imaging to the point I went in. Very rare for me to do so. Nothing wrong, but good to know. I hear you, brother. I'm pretty sure it was just that same kind of pain. It was just a getting old kind of thing. And it just kind of went away. If it comes back, I'll be more considerate. But as long as it happens and leaves, I'm good. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed now. So I love you guys with all my heart. Take care of yourselves and each other. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, name it after me. Be kind to somebody when you go out into the world tomorrow. Be nice. Share a little bit of love and see if it don't change your world around. I promise you it will. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 sharp right here on the Untethered Live channel on YouTube. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being so interesting and having such great conversations and being so concerned about my well-being. I appreciate that. I do. It means a lot to me. And I'm glad I got you guys in my corner. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for watching.